I would love a time machine to go back and watch some of the major events of history take place, right? To see the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I think that'd be kind of cool. Or to hear Abraham Lincoln deliver the Gettysburg Address. Awesome. To see Martin Luther King Jr. deliver the I Have a Dream speech. Or to watch John Lewis cross the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I mean, those things would just be really cool. These moments are defining American moments that live in our history books, and they shape our imaginations of what it means to be an American. Now, the readers of Matthew had such moments and heroes too, and two of them show up in our text today. If you remember that holy staff meeting that's going on between Jesus and Elijah and Moses. So here is Jesus, like shining like the sun and talking to Moses and Elijah. And the disciples are watching this moment. It's like they were able to get into a time machine and then go back and watch Mount Sinai happen before their eyes, where Moses went up the mountain to receive the law that God wrote on the tablets with God's own finger. And then we went back down and Moses threw it at the people because they made a golden calf and they screwed up before he even got back. And then he went back up the mountain and redo that. But then God was like, this time you're doing the writing, pal, because you chucked them at the people and I'm done writing. It's your job. You're the stenographer. So is it any wonder that Peter utters the phrase, Lord, it is good that we are here. Now, if you're like, someone's shining like the sun in front of you and then two ghosts show up, maybe he's a little bit nervous, trying to reassure himself that hey, this is okay. It's good that we're here. Like if you've ever wandered into an intense conversation between two individuals and thought, is this all right? Did I come in the wrong time? Right? But this isn't Peter just running off his mouth while Jesus shakes his head thinking, when will this guy ever get it? Right? There's this Methodist preacher who runs a very cool blog and podcast. His name is Jason Micheli. And he said on his blog this week, if Peter is wrong, why doesn't Jesus correct him? Then he goes on to answer his own question. He says, it is right and good, always and everywhere, to worship and adore God become human. And in seeing him is to see ourselves taken up into that same glory. It is right and good to anticipate our flesh being remade into God's image so that we may be united with God. For just as Christ's humanity is transfigured by glory without ceasing to be human, so too will our humanity be called into union with God. Okay, but what does this seeing then produce in us? If we see the beauty of divinity within humanity, what does it produce in us? One word, action. See, when God made the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh, God too uttered the words, it is good, just like Peter, our bro. And then it was up to Adam and Eve to tend the creation that God made good and bring order to the goodness. So too here, Jesus has remade the world with his resurrection in love, and we are called to tend to that kingdom of God within the world, just like Adam and Eve tended the garden. Now, Nobel Prize winning Archbishop of Cape Town, South Africa, by the name of Desmond Tutu, one of my heroes, he said a real powerful passage. He said, the Church of God has to be the salt and light of the world. We are the hope of the hopeless. Through the power of God, that's how we are the hope of the hopeless. We must transfigure a situation of hate and suspicion, of broken and separation, of fear and bitterness. We have no option. We are servants of the God who reigns and cares. He wants us to be the alternative society. A church that tries to pacify us, telling us not to concentrate on the things of this world, but of the other world, the next world, needs to be treated with withering scorn and contempt as being not wholly irrelevant, but actually blasphemous. Dang, Desmond, you're like punching us in the jaw here, but that was good. It is good to glimpse the practical divinity of God shining forth from humanity. It causes us to search for that divine spark in humans everywhere we go. If we can see it, then we can see it when it is being repressed by injustice and suffering. And this can lead to acts of social justice for individuals that need help and societal reforms for the systemic ways that we create environments of injustice and suffering. and which then dims the light of God in those who are experiencing that suffering.